Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Hello, and how are you, everyone? Hope you're doing well. Today is Wednesday, September 17th, 2025, of course. And just here to check the vibes and see what's popping. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna get right into it. Ooh, High Priestess. Off the top. High Priestess, okay. Either some secrets or a revelation, some mystical truth or a mystical person. Let's see. Seven of Pentacles. I'm sorry. No, not at all. Seven of Swords. Oh, man. Seven of Swords. Some tricky activity going on here. Let's see. What was that? Oh, against the Queen of Pentacles. Somebody trying to get away with some type of, or somebody straight up lying on a High Priestess. Lying on, lying about, trying to tarnish with that Queen of Pentacles their reputation, their honor, their maybe even just trying to steal something away from them physically. Could be, again, it could be spiritual or it could be energetic, like somebody's reputation, but it could be actually material, like trying to get away with something valuable, which obviously for a High Priestess, their reputation or their purity, or what's the word I just heard? Their innocence, trying to get away with their innocence. Well, and or also, as I said before, speaking against someone's innocence to devalue them or tarnish their persona, like their values, their good name, their honor. Like it's something, what's this here? Somebody got a lot to say about someone that ultimately doesn't deserve to be spoken on in a negative light, or doesn't deserve to be projected on. Yeah, I'm getting some type of projection here in a negative light. What's this? Two of Cups. So this could be a partnership, a friendship, or somebody you thought was a friend, you know, that presented themselves to be a giver, you know, to be balanced in their giving and taking, but they're really more of a taker than a giver, or they're willing to take more than take all. Because sometimes in a negative light with this Two of Cups, especially given we had the Seven of Swords first, sometimes I see in the Two of Cups that the guy is actually reaching out to take her cup, but he's not really reaching forward to give his. Like this hand here is reaching to take, but he's still holding tight. His cup is still held tight to his chest almost. So yeah, let's see. So what about it then? So like I said, this again could be somebody's innocence by way of word of mouth or defamation, gossip, I don't know, I just heard libel, whatever that could apply to. Yeah, either by that or actually, because we didn't see that Queen of Pentacles card for nothing. There's something material or physical here. So this could be like some cunning intention to take advantage, at the very least. That's me saying it nicely. To take advantage of someone's chastity or benevolence, or actually their innocence, because the cup is like the most pure essence of self. You know, it's like your spirit, your soul, your love frequency. So it could be someone that sees an opportunity or thinks there's an opportunity, because Seven of Swords is always really tricking themselves. But they see a mark, and it may even be like a taking someone's kindness for blindness type of situation, where they think because someone is nice and maybe quiet or sweet, giving, loving, caring, that they could easily be seduced or easily be manipulated. God forbid there actually be an attack. And in that case, it would be an attack of the most nefarious nature when we're talking about someone's innocence. Or it could be somebody lying about a connection that they had, projecting certain reflections of a particular connection or relationship or friendship. They're taking stories or information and then twisting it around, and that is in turn having reflecting a negative light on this feminine energy, because what the Two of Cups is a pretty intimate connection. So someone is positioning themselves to be truthful and trustworthy about a dynamic because of their proximity to it or intimacy within it. But they're really manipulating, not even just manipulating, like just straight up, what's worse than manipulating? I don't even know. Like they're really using their position within proximity to someone, perhaps presently or at a time, to do some real damage because of how closely they were connected to someone. It's like, all right, so like if you have a ex or like a best friend or a friend that is talking shit, I mean, to put it plainly, that's talking shit about you, but this partnership was known. It was like, it was known that this person was close to this feminine energy. So what they say almost seems like somewhat believable, which is probably why a lot of the damage can be potentially so impactful and harmful, is because it's like, well, why would they lie? Or you would even take someone's word for face value because they did have a closeness or a proximity or an intimacy with someone. So it's like, well, they would know, you know, you may or may not be able to fact check this information, but just the sheer fact of who it's coming from kind of gives some, at least, consideration of validity. If not, you know, like some people, not most of the time when people are just pouring up tea about others, most people that are listening don't really care whether or not it's true or false. They just drinking it up, you know. So it's not, most people don't care enough to go figure out what's true and what's not. They'll just take it for face value, literally, like he's taking that cup. They'll just take it for face value. And even if there is any type of information that would dispel the rumor or the gossip or the outright lie, you know what I mean, the story, let's say, it may or may not still, it may or may not undo the damage that was done by the lie itself. You know, that's why it keeps going back to this, like, tarnishing of somebody's reputation or their image or something like that, because it's like somebody's weaponizing. Yes, somebody is weaponizing their relationship or their friendship or partnership with someone in a way that is extremely dangerous, because, as I'm saying, it wouldn't take much for them to be believed. And or it could, I mean, the Seven of Swords is given that somebody is either a liar or they are using information for nefarious reasons, to be deceptive. So it could even be some truth, but they twist it and turn it to suit a certain narrative, or you know, to paint a certain picture that they want to paint. Or it could be an outright lie, but either way, it's done with, it's information that's being shared with negative intentions, like very, very poor intentions towards someone else. Let's see, because, like, so what? Like, what? Okay, what are we talking about here? Now that we got that, now that I got that out the way. Ooh, Queen of Wands. Yeah, it's like, it's really someone want to damage someone's character. Okay, so here it is, to damage their character and reputation with hopes that the ultimate impact is to someone's self-esteem. So that whether or not, if this gets back, say this information gets back around to someone, like this gossip, this rumor, this whatever, it would impact somebody's confidence a great deal. And or also, the Queen of Wands is very attractive, so it would ultimately repel people from this person because of the light that's being projected on it. So it will make it so that people wouldn't want to connect, or wouldn't want to be friends or partner or do business, or even just, you know, be in proximity or know someone, or be in communication with someone or whatever, because of what they heard. So now somebody's trying to damage somebody's reputation, their ability to create, manifest perhaps, and or to make money. You know, like straight up and down, like make money, like really trying to put a damper on someone's creative ability one way or another. Because it's like, it could work directly against someone's self-esteem to hear about what's been said, or to hear the rumor or the word around town, or for somebody to actually be inquisitive enough to be like, you know, I heard that, and they'd be like, what? That's what people are saying about me? That's the, where'd you hear it? You know, like to just really make someone coil into insecurity about what's being said, or whatever perception is about them. That's one way. That's directly damaging. But the Seven of Swords gives me that somebody is more sneaky about it than that. Like, they don't necessarily want to, Okay, so they really are hot, throw their rock and hide their hands type of person. So they have um a very sly way of sharing information. Like I said, it's a twisted way of doing it where it doesn't necessarily look like maybe they're directly spreading bad information or rumors. It kind of keeps their hands clean a little bit, at least so they think. So it's not like, well, she dot 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 dot. It's like someone telling a story about a time, you know what I mean, that may or may not be true. It could be true, but it could even be like as cunning as this, like telling a story about a time in the past when there was connection, as if it is still a present reality, something like that, where it's weird. It's somebody's being real weird here. And the point, and the other behind the scenes or undercurrent of it all is that they don't really care whether or not it gets back to someone, because their main objective is to ruin someone's name and reputation behind the veil, with the high priestess behind the scenes, like unbeknownst to someone. You may not even know why, people don't really rock with you like that, or there's a certain vibration towards you or energy towards you when you reach out to people, or if you see people, or just generally speaking, like there's this fog around you in a certain type of way that you don't even know why. Because like I said, nobody is talking. Nobody is saying, such and such said this, or I heard this about you. It's just an air that's just swirling around you unbeknownst to you. And that would be more satisfying for someone to create that aura around somebody's reputation and their persona than it would be for it to actually get back and do damage, as my phone lights up at 6:30, which is a 9. Yeah, like to bring a kind of a closure to someone's good name or their good character, or how people view them or perceive them behind the scenes in a sly way, so that opportunities for connection, advancement, creation, whatever, they may not even make it to you, just sheerly on account of the damage that someone's doing behind the scenes to cut those cords before they can even really connect, honestly. Yeah. That sure is a lot of energy. And the thing about it is, I was just hearing backfire in my head. First of all, because with the Seven of Swords, they always get caught up in their own tricks, that energy. So, but the thing is, it's like all of that effort that has been that has been expended or is being expended, and somebody is still the Queen of Wands. Like they're still the Queen of Wands. Like the Queen of Wands is she really doesn't really care. It's like that main character energy. It's like good, bad, or indifferent. You can talk, but you still talking about me. You know what I mean? Like it's not, for that energy, it doesn't really matter to someone what anybody truly says. Like a real Queen of Wands, like their confidence and their courage comes from a more internal and grounded place than public opinion. Sometimes to a fault, of course, we know that. The shadow of a Queen of Wands type of energy is, somebody that doesn't mind being the center of attention in any room. But the Queen of Wands in the upright is just like, it's just par for the course. It's like that energy where you kind of just command attention in the room, and some people may care for you and some people may not, and you just kind of learn to just flow with the go with the flow in that regard, because you can't forcefully shift anybody's perception of you or their acceptance of your character as who you are, but you're going to be unapologetically you no matter what. So it's like all the energy somebody could be putting into ruining somebody's reputation, and really all they're doing is creating more of a pedestal or more of a platform or a stage for somebody to just keep being them, more intrigue, if anything, like, well, let me see what's, or even just putting you at the top of people's minds where they may not even been thinking about you, but now it's like, well, I heard such and such said that such and such did this or is that, or like stuff that wouldn't even be public knowledge or tea at all if it wasn't for this person carrying it. You know what I mean? So it's like in essence, they don't even realize that they're doing the Queen of Wands, High Priestess, whomever this feminine energy is, a favor, a service that she didn't even ask for. All right, what's next? Because this is stupid. 21 minutes, and yeah, let's speed this up. Oh, child. Trying to cause some type of blockage. It's just like, or this could be, it could be a Queen of Wands that, no, let me see what's on the other side of this devil. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so this is exactly what I said. It's like all the energy someone has invested. Now, they done went from the Two of Cups, a shared situation that is very fair, balanced, equal, harmonious, to the Five of Cups, which is just bleak, ultimately. So it's just pretty much what I said. And they're bound to this energy that they have been putting out. This is probably the backfire that I was talking about. They were on demon time, and now they're having to ultimately deal with not only the spilled milk of what they've created, but now they got two cups. They got both of the cups, one that they snatched from the feminine energy here, but they don't even want it. It's like all the energy, all the effort that was put into this cause, this campaign, so to speak. It could even have been a smear campaign, definitely a smear campaign against someone's reputation, and their honor and dignity. And it has, what they've gained from it, whether it was attention, whatever the value of what they thought they were getting from it, they got it. The Two of Cups is here, both of them, but they don't even want it. They're not even acknowledging those cups. They're still looking at the 3 cups that are spilled out. So it's still not satisfying. It's still not fulfilling what they've created. And now they're bound to the consequences of their actions and intentions. Like almost indebted to this campaign. Because they're indebted to this campaign because, like I said, the Queen of Wands is still the Queen of Wands. And this is someone that could have had, like I said, they could have had had access to this partnership or this connection, friendship, relationship, business, creativity, whatever, collaboration, whatever this is, whatever this Two of Cups represents, they had full access to it before. But because of what they've created, it's like they couldn't access that energy. It wasn't enough to have shared access, though, like mutual access, equal give and take. They wanted to have all of whatever this feminine energy had to offer and didn't want to give anything in return. So now they have nothing because they don't have the access of that pure, that pure, powerful, in this case, energy right next to the Queen, creativity, perhaps, with the Queen of Wands. And they can't backtrack to reclaim it because too much damage has been done. Even if someone has managed to keep their hands clean, or their hands hidden, I should say, and their identity secret to whatever it is that they were doing, it's like the guilt and the shame of it all is what is most binding. So even if someone doesn't know that it was them talking all this shit all this time, they couldn't go back and face somebody who's still upright and still quite confident and still pure in their own skin, if they wanted to, for their own personal internal struggles and conflict. Like, somebody would be too ashamed and too guilty at this point to go back and try to re-establish this connection, of which now they know they were better off with that shared energy than they were just trying to trying to completely monopolize and take advantage of all that someone was willing to give. But they can't go back. They can't go back. Not even their energy would allow them. Somebody may even be afraid that if they tried to reconnect, as my phone goes off again at 6:13, which is a 10, yeah, it's done. It's a done deal. It's a 10. It's a wrap. If they tried to go back and reclaim this connection or reestablish it, there's something about it that they're afraid of being exposed. I mean, but we started off with the High Priestess, which pretty much says that somebody already knows what's going on. Like, there is nothing really truly hidden to somebody in particular. Even the Queen of Wands is looking directly at the devil. Like, I see you. I do see you. I'm just paying you no mind, but I see you. So it's like somebody's fear of whether or not they are exposed is one thing, but to even return, it's so much that could be in the Five of Cups, because it even could be pride, that wouldn't even allow somebody to make amends at best. I should say at least, but really it feels like somebody's like, I know I couldn't, even if I put my best game face on, my best act, something might give me away. I might get sniffed out some type of way if I even try, what's that, to cross the threshold. Yeah, like, no, yeah, yep, no. This is, if unbothered was a card, this is that. It's like, yeah, I know what's going on. I know what's been said. I know what's been done. And I really could care less. I'm over here minding my business, tending to my affairs, tending to literally minding my business. Living my best life, whatever that means for whomever. And nothing really can affect me in this space. Not what anybody thinks, not what anybody has said or is saying, not the tea, not the gossip, not the lies, not the stories. shoot, not the truth, whatever it is that may be circulating, it's of no consequence to somebody that's in the Nine of Pentacles. They have too much of their own concern to manage to care about anything else. Let's see, what else here? And the Five of Cups with the Devil, to me, says that somebody's got bigger fish to fry on their own accord anyway. Like, they got to figure out how to detach themselves from whatever this entanglement is with that Devil card. Whether it's addictions, whether it's some type of obsession, sickness, maybe it's not the Five of Pentacles, but with the Devil, some type of spiritual or psychological unrest or unwellness. It's like the devil's on somebody's ass. It could be in the form of depression, which is the second time this has come out. The last reading we had that card. It could be depression. It could be just this sense of hopelessness now, considering, like, reflecting on everything that has transpired and taking inventory of what has been acquired and realizing that it was pretty much worth all for nothing. Ouch. Darn it. Here is the Moon card. It almost fell on the floor. Yeah, I said something about secrets in the beginning, but look again, look at the significance here with the Nine of Pentacles facing. She's kind of like looking at the moon. It's like, yeah, I know what's going on. I know what's happening behind the veil, but what you want me to do about it? Cry about it? Get mad? Get vengeful? Nah. I'll just conserve my energy. That's the best option for me at this time. Certainly not going to be, be afraid even of the things that I don't know or the things that I can't see. It's just like I do what I do with what I can, and the rest I leave it to the divine. That's the energy here with the moon, because there very well may be some things that are in somebody's blind spot, or that are supposed to be hidden or covert, but you can't drive yourself to lunacy on account of what you don't know or what hasn't revealed itself yet physically. Because with the High Priestess again leading this, it's like there's a knowing already. There's an intuitiveness already. It just may not be revealed yet. Whomever is doing this devilish work may not be officially revealed yet, or what's been said may not be officially spoken or shared or discovered or whatever yet, but it's already known that something is going on. There's a sense about it that the High Priestess can have, that there's something untoward happening, that all she can really do as the Queen of Wands is just keep focusing, and the Nine of Pentacles is just keep focusing on what you can create, what you can build, maybe even what you can transmute on account of what you do know or what you sense, definitely emphasis on that transmutation. That was almost the 9 of Wands. I mean, I'm sorry, the 10 of Wands, but it flipped back. Yeah, it's like that's somebody else's struggle to manage, but certainly you wouldn't take on that cross as your own because it doesn't have your name on it. You know, when people are putting out negative energy against you, whether it's physical, verbal, or spiritual, there's not really much you can do except for call in the strength and the fortitude to transmute that energy for your highest good and release the rest to the divine. You can't physically go and stop someone. You can't even 100% rely on your methods of how you may block someone in the spirit. You can't, because people are cunning and diabolical, and they are relentless, especially in this day, or they have been. You know, perhaps they still are. I don't know. They'll use everything: a moon cycle, an eclipse, whatever. Your birth chart. They'll use pretty much anything, and as mystically as that, and also as primitive as their own tongue, you know, their own words, to again weaponize an attack, you know, or weaponize their tongue against you for the purposes of causing harm. But the best you can do is just keep being you, you know, to kind of be indifferent to the bullshit as much as you possibly can. And when you are focused on creativity above all, yeah, it gets frustrating to eventually to feel like you're always kind of trudging in the sand, you know, or trudging through mud. Even sometimes it feels, because there's always some resistance against you. But it's still no better way to invest your energy than on the things that are a direct reflection and result of your own personal creativity, your own personal passions at that, and the things that you find value and value and what's the word, like fulfillment in. That's really the greatest defense and the greatest weapon, you know. It really is. It's the Queen of Wands. She can fight fire with fire. She can. But then you also have to mind the laws of the universe, which apply for us all. You know, that's why me personally, I don't even waste my time in return to senders. Like, I've never said that out loud on my channel, because I don't even really give light to a lot of the dark energies that, you know, are a challenge in this realm and at this time, or have been. But I don't even waste my energy on that, because the law takes care of us all. You know, we all have to abide by it, universal law. So whatever energy you're putting out, just as I said here, it will come back. And at least you will find that it wasn't even worth the energy, you know. But almost always it'll come back. So if somebody's going to start, and I know people have their opinions, like you have a right to defend yourself. Like I say, you have the right to block yourself. You have a right to return the energy because it's not yours, and so on and so forth. And you do. We all have the right. We all have the choice. But you just have to consider, like, is it even worth your energy? You know, like, to be sending some darkness back to somebody else just because you can. Because they may absorb it, but you still have to be responsible for your energy too. you know, and it's still the same. It's still the same law that applies. I would be hard to, it would be hard to convince me otherwise. And I know there are practitioners that definitely live by a creed of, you know, you have the right, you could do what you need to do. And you, especially if you have the power to do what you need to do, but it's, you know, it's just, again, it's a moral preference, you know, it's an ethical standard. And the greatest way to really build up your immunity and your resistance, your resilience, your protection is to live by a higher moral code than what is the status quo. You know, like, even if that is the status quo, there's still like a calling to elevate that intention just a bit higher, you know, at every turn, to ultimately stabilize your best intentions, you know, and your force field to be attractive for the best. Because if you start shooting out energy that's with negative intention, you kind of have to brace for impact at some point in time. That's just how it works, you know, that's just how it works. Even when you have the right. Let's see, like maybe one more or so. Yeah, it's 41. What's after this moon card? So I guess this would be a great opportunity. I don't know why. I just feel like this would be a great opportunity for me to say out loud, as if I didn't just say it enough. I just gave like my standard on such practices. But since this is an energy about rumors and about talk and about, you know, gossip and tea and tarnishing somebody's character, let it be known that the only energy that comes from my spirit to anyone and anything is love and light. As I said, I don't even waste my energy on return to senders. I don't waste a candlelight, an intention, a proclamation, a prayer, a nothing on anything that's not of the highest frequency that I can transmit, and that's toward anything and anyone. I just don't. You could be my worst enemy and you still wouldn't catch me sending anything but the best intentions toward or for someone, even if I'm not necessarily like, you know, praying for the highest good for someone, you know, with aggressively, let's say. I'm definitely never sending anything dark or nefarious or demonic towards anyone, or anything destructive, I guess I should say, in a nutshell. That's not me. And my spiritual practices are nothing but love and light, and every intention that I ever call into manifestation is for the greatest good of what I feel called to create and the legacy that I'm building for the future, you know, for the future, and according to what I feel has been designed divinely, you know, for me. I ain't got time to worry about what nobody else is doing or how to block or stop, or I protect, you know, but again, a large part of my protection is integrity. That's the greatest part of my protection. And again, minding my business as much as I possibly can. So let it be known that we don't do that over here. In case anybody was wondering, in case you heard wrong, in case you considered or thought otherwise, ain't nothing of the sort. Ten of Pentacles, and I'm going to leave that there because that is the best way to end, because that's what it comes down to, building an empire that's foundationally sound for the future. And this is on something good, something long-standing, generational wealth, on the basis, on the grounds of your own gifts and talents, adding high value to society, to the earth, you know, like it's good stuff, you know, the Ten of Pentacles. You can't really build something like this doing anything dark. Even the ones that have built themselves quite a fortune and quite a legacy in the material sense find themselves hard pressed to maintain it without great stress and trial and tribulation, if it's not built with moral fortitude, you know, or morally and ethically, without causing harm to someone else. And for those that haven't built that way, they can pretty much count on losing it for sure in some way, shape, or form, or being completely, you know, like swallowed up by it to the point where just to maintain it is a hardship in itself. So it's like, this is the goal, you know. And if there was any secret or mystery about what an energy such as a High Priestess or Queen of Wands and Nine of Pentacles for real, like really authentically is focused on, is this: being a creator and a contributor to whatever gets this job done, whatever brings this wealth of abundance into fruition, in spirit and in flesh. And not just for themselves, but again, for something that can be left behind for generations to come. You ain't got time to be fooling around with darkness when that's your focus. Simple as that. Four of Pentacles. Yeah. And meanwhile, some are just still holding fast and holding tight to their, in this case, it could be conventional ideals, but we know a lot of our conventional ideals, the patriarchy, for instance, are outdated and outmoded and somewhat distorted, you know? So it's like, you can have that. If it works for you, you know, have at it. Have at it. But those that are in the market for something fresh, something new, something more evolved, there's a great deal to acquire and achieve with a shift in perspective. Like I said, everybody has their choice. Everybody does. But this here with the 5 and the 6, the 4, I'm sorry, the 4 and the 5, it's like the 4 of Pentacles is firm enough. You know, you can build a foundation on that. But in the grand scheme of the 10, it's really not much. It's not much. There's so much more to desire or to be desired beyond that 4, of which someone's holding pretty tightly too. And there's so much more beyond these hierophant ideals, the old way of doing things, the archaic way of thinking, the rigid way of living life, governing yourself, creating business, building business, managing relationships. You know, all of that is wrapped up into the Hierophant, and it has worked well enough for a time, enough to build some structures, you know, but there's a new opportunity to evolve in the atmosphere, and the only way you really can receive it and integrate with it, or allow it to integrate with you, is to be intentional and really devoted and committed to your most supreme self. And for the masculine energy, that's inviting more of your feminine force to integrate with your identity. For the feminine energy, that's, you know, nurturing that side of you and allowing it to take precedence where there's been conditioning to subdue it and repress it, as well as an alignment with your masculine force as well. Maybe in some cases a little bit of dialing down from the masculine and like balance, pretty much, you know, complete balance of mind, body, and spirit. At least the spirit and the mind, you know, at least. But yeah, like I said, everybody has their choice. But history can teach us a whole lot about where certain paths lead. And although the path ahead is somewhat unknown, you know, because it's not the way we've been conditioned to be or live or behave or think, or relate even to one another or to ourselves, it's still, look, beyond the moon, which is the unknown, look at all this wealth and abundance to be had. But the only way you'll know is to go and see for yourself. Like that's a very independent journey and decision that has to be made. So hopefully we all choose wisely. The takeaway from today, if you ain't hear nothing else, mind your business. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with